Welcome to another Stitch and Chat. Uh, I love these because I get to just talk about things that are important to me and things that I think are important to my community as well. We're all just people trying to live a life and find as much happiness in doing that as we can. But life certainly presents a struggle to all of us, and sometimes we just don't know where to stop, where to start, what to do more of, what to do less of. We're just in a quandary. And not that I have all the answers for sure, but I have learned a lot over my almost 80 years. And so family life has always been something that's very important to me. And as you know, if you've been watching my channel very long, I will be married 60 years this year. So I definitely know what it is to work on a family. And I'd like to impart just a little of the things that I've learned and hope that they might be helpful to you in some way, or if not to you personally, maybe somebody you know. While I'm talking, I'm going to be just doing some overcast on the edge of this heart that I'm working on here. And I've got a pretty thick thread here, so you'll have to excuse me for yanking on it a lot. Okay. So our subject today is about, we're going to compare growing a family with growing a flower garden. Who of us doesn't enjoy seeing a beautiful flower garden? It just lifts our soul, brightens our day. We love flowers. And I just read the other day that when we see something beautiful like flowers, that endorphins are released in our brain, which is helpful to us feeling happy, contented, at peace. So we do want that. But when we plant a flower garden, as anybody who's done any gardening knows, we have to start with the dirt. We have to make sure that our soil is good, that it's rich and ready to accept plants so that it can feed them well and they can grow and thrive. So we have to think about, what's the difference? We want to think about the family lives that we know. In society as a whole, in our own, in our neighbors, in our close friends, do the families resemble beautiful flower gardens, or do they resemble more a garbage dump? And that's a sad comparison, but it is an accurate one when we really are truthful about the situation we see. So much divorce, so much pain, so much anger, just failure right and left to keep those relationships alive. So let's think about what we need to do. Now, people don't have to be expert gardeners. We don't have to do that. But we do need some practical guidelines, something that actually works. And what I've found are principles. And where I found these principles was in the Bible. Now, I'm not here to preach. I'm just here to point out that I found practical guide in the actual Bible and the principles it puts forth. And I know they work because I've been using them in my own life for decades. And a principle, at least when it comes to the Bible, is an unchangeable truth. It doesn't change over time or circumstance, and it applies equally to everyone. So a principle like that would be great, and it would work for everyone the same way, and everyone has the same access to it. Gotta pay attention to what I'm doing here for a minute. Okay. Oh, I should have got a smaller needle. This one is really working me out. But you know me, do things the hard way. I kind of like that. It's kind of it's a nylon thread, and so it has a sheen to it. And I like that. Okay. So where does this begin? So like I said, when we do a garden of any kind, flowers or vegetables or whatever, we have to start with the dirt. We compost, we water, we feed until it becomes a fertile, living thing itself, the dirt itself. We put different elements in our compost until it's strong, and it has all the elements for a well-balanced growing area. We have to do that before we try to propagate or sow seed. If we don't, we're doomed to failure. There we go. So a couple that doesn't take the time to build the right soil or foundation first before they start planting or having children will fail. It's guaranteed. They will fail. And those plants will be harmed in the process, if not stunted or killed. But what if you've already started a family? What if you already have planted your little ones and your family is in trouble? Well, it's not too late. We can still apply these practical guidelines or principles, and we can improve our family's dirt or soil to where we can get the last half of the growing period to be so much better than the first. That is so much work. Let me put this thread through the bottom here. Okay, let's cut through here. So how do you fertilize? How do you build that soil? We've got several steps here. First one is commitment. If you don't intend to stay loyal and committed to this relationship, this family unit, in my opinion, you shouldn't begin. You just flat shouldn't begin. Because it's not all about you, it's about your mate, and it's about those children that are planted in that garden eventually. So if you don't intend to stick it out, if you don't intend to nurture this garden from beginning to end, don't start. It's not fair. You won't be happy, and neither will anybody else. So commitment is our first fertilizer, or compost. The second is harmony. If you're not a person who is harmonious, who can adapt, who is reasonable, who is unselfish, who can work with others, especially your mate, who can work as a team, then again, you are doomed to fail. Because it takes teamwork to build a family. A family is just what it says, a family. It's not one person. Okay? So you need to work in harmony. Rather than thinking in the term of I, or me, think in the term of us and we. And remember that when a team loses, everyone on it loses. So you want to work as a team, and you want to build and pull together so that the whole team, the whole family, come out winners. From the very beginning, learn what is harmful for your family garden. What is harmful? And by all means, avoid it. Avoid it like the plague. You're not going to dump poisons on your literal flower garden or vegetable garden. So why would you do it to your family? Whether it's in the choice of those you choose to associate with, the choice of your entertainment, the choice of your career, any other major part of your life in which your family can either be benefited or harmed, think once, twice, and 3 times over these personal preferences so that you can make sure that you're not making decisions that are poisoning your garden. Time. The next principle is time. If you're going to have a successful garden, you're going to spend time. You're going to be watering. You're going to be weeding. You're going to be turning the soil. You're going to be composting. You're going to be watching for pests and other things that come in from the outside that might harm your family. It takes time. So spend time with your family. It's essential for growing and cementing strong relationships. 2 things that you want to make sure that you fertilize with a high percentage is love and respect. That goes for everyone in the family, but especially for the mother and father. You know, many years ago, and I do not remember who said this, but I remember that it is so true. The greatest gift a man can give his child is to love and respect its mother. Does that not set the tone of a home? Men are seen as heads of households. They are seen as the protectors and providers. Not that women don't do the same thing, but the role is geared toward a man. So when he does that, when he loves and respects the mother of his children, he sets such a fine example for them. He shows them how the family works, what makes it work. Then that love and respect that's shown his wife is also shown his children. Everyone is happy and secure. No weeds will come in like selfishness and impatience and critical speech and all those things that don't belong in a family. There's no room for them because you're weeding those things out constantly. And love and respect are what solidifies that family. When people look at your family, when they observe your family, that's what they'll say. They have the closest, tightest, most loving, respectful relationship inside that family. So what can you take away from that discussion today? Build up the dirt or the core relationship of a family first. Feed it, weed it, water it daily. Then you can watch your family grow, and not only grow, but actually bloom. You can have the most beautiful family on the block. you can have the family everyone else envies. And when they ask you how you do it, tell them you start with the dirt. Thank you so much for being with me today, and stay scrap happy. Bye-bye.